Desperate measures. Maya Chen stared at the final notice on her kitchen counter, the bold red letters mocking her efforts to keep her small dance studio afloat. 3 months behind on rent, utility bills piling up, and her sister's medical treatments consuming every spare dollar. At 26, Maya had never imagined her life would come to this. Talented, passionate, but drowning in debt. "Eat something," her sister Lily said from her wheelchair, sliding a plate of toast across the table. "You're no good to anyone if you collapse." Maya smiled weakly, taking a small bite to appease her. "The bank called again this morning." "And?" Lily raised her eyebrow, her keen eyes missing nothing despite being only 19. "And they've given me until the end of the month." Maya ran her fingers through her dark hair, feeling the weight of responsibility pressing down on her shoulders. "I don't know what else to do, Lil. The studio's barely breaking even, and with your treatments—" "Don't you dare blame this on me," Lily interjected, wheeling closer. "We'll figure something out. We always do." The buzz of Maya's phone interrupted their conversation. An unknown number. She almost ignored it, but desperation made her answer. "Maya Chen speaking." "Miss Chen, this is Victoria Reed, Executive Assistant to Liam Walker of Walker Technologies." The crisp, professional voice on the other end made Maya sit straighter. "I think there's been a mistake. I run a dance studio, not a tech company." "There's no mistake. 2 o'clock at his downtown office. The address will be texted to you. Mr. Walker doesn't like to be kept waiting." Before Maya could protest further, the call ended. She stared at her phone in confusion. "Who was that?" Lily asked, curiosity lighting her eyes. "Apparently, Liam Walker wants to meet with me." "Lillian Walker? Tech genius, philanthropist, voted Seattle's most eligible bachelor 3 years running?" "I guess so," Maya shrugged. "Probably wants to book the studio for some corporate event." "Or maybe he's secretly a dance enthusiast," teased Lily. "You should go. What have you got to lose?" 4 hours later, Maya found herself in the sleek, minimalist lobby of Walker Technologies, feeling distinctly out of place in her simple black dress and worn ballet flats, the most professional outfit she owned. The receptionist guided her to a private elevator that whisked her to the top floor. Victoria Reed, a tall woman with immaculate silver hair and piercing blue eyes, met her at the elevator. "Mr. Walker is waiting. Follow me." Maya was led into a vast office with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Seattle skyline. Standing with his back to her, gazing out at the view, was a tall figure in a perfectly tailored charcoal suit. "Mr. Walker, Maya Chen is here," Victoria announced before discreetly exiting. When Liam Walker turned to face her, Maya was struck by the intensity of his gaze, dark eyes that seemed to evaluate everything in seconds. At 32, he had the confident posture of a man accustomed to power, with strong features and neatly styled brown hair that couldn't quite hide the tension in his jaw. "Miss Chen, thank you for coming on such short notice," he said, his voice deep and measured. "It's not like your assistant gave me much choice," Maya replied, immediately regretting her bluntness. To her surprise, a hint of amusement flickered across his face. "Victoria can be persuasive. May I ask why I'm here, Mr. Walker? I'm sure you didn't call me to discuss your assistant's phone manner." Liam gestured to a seating area. "Please sit. I have a proposition that might interest you." As they sat across from each other, Liam slid a folder toward her. "I've been selected to participate in the annual Dance for a Cause charity event. It's high-profile, televised, and, according to my PR team, essential for improving my company's image." Maya flipped through the folder, recognizing the prestigious competition. "And what does this have to do with me?" "I need a dance partner. Someone professional, discreet, and," his eyes met hers, "in need of financial assistance." Maya stiffened.
You've been researching me? I research all potential business partners. He stated it as if it was the most natural thing in the world. Your studio is 3 months behind on rent. Your sister's medical bills are substantial. You need money, and I need a partner who won't quit halfway through the competition. So you're offering me what exactly? To be your hired dance partner? For 3 months, exclusive training, 6 days a week. I'll pay you enough to clear your debts and keep your studio running for a year. He named a figure that made Maya's breath catch. In return, you sign a contract that includes confidentiality and commitment until the competition ends. Maya narrowed her eyes. What's the catch, Mr. Walker? No personal entanglement. This is strictly business. His expression remained impassive. We train, we compete, we part ways. No media interviews without approval, no discussing our arrangement, and absolutely no romantic complications. Are we clear? Maya stood up, extending her hand. Crystal clear, Mr. Walker. You've got yourself a dance partner. As their hands met, she felt the warmth of his grip, contrasting with the cool calculation in his eyes, and wondered if she'd just made a deal with the devil.
Second chances. Spring blossomed across Brooklyn, bringing with it a season of change. Sweet whisks flourished under the expanded Hudson contract, allowing Sophie to finally hire enough staff to occasionally take weekends off. Oliver completed kindergarten with flying colors, proudly showing Ethan his certificate at a celebration dinner that somehow included them both. The truth of Ethan's identity remained unspoken to Oliver, a mutual decision to move slowly, to build foundations before adding weight to them. But as summer approached, Sophie found herself considering the possibility that had once seemed unthinkable, allowing Ethan to fully enter their lives. It wasn't just Oliver's obvious attachment to him, or the way Ethan had proven himself reliable, patient, present. It was the quiet moments. Ethan helping with dishes after dinner, the three of them walking home from a movie with Oliver between them, holding both their hands. It was the way he looked at her when he thought she wouldn't notice, not with desire or nostalgia, but with something deeper, more reverent. One evening, while Oliver was at a sleepover with his best friend, Sophie invited Ethan to dinner at her apartment. The domesticity of cooking together felt both strange and familiar, as if glimpsing an alternate timeline where they'd never separated. "I've been thinking," she said, chopping vegetables while he stirred the sauce, "about telling Oliver the truth." Ethan's hand stilled. "Are you sure? He deserves to know, and you've earned it." She set down her knife. "But I need to be certain you're staying, Ethan. Not just for now, not until something more important comes along. He can't lose you twice." "Sophie," he turned to face her, "I've restructured my entire company to be based in New York permanently. I've reduced my role to chairman, letting my COO handle daily operations." His eyes held her steadily. "Nothing is more important than Oliver, than this chance." The unspoken question hung between them. Was there still a chance for them, too? Later, they sat on her small balcony, the lights of Brooklyn twinkling around them. A comfortable silence had descended, broken only when Ethan spoke softly. "Do you remember that weekend in the Hamptons, just before—" He trailed off. "I remember," she nodded. "Their last perfect weekend, before everything fell apart. You told me then that all you wanted was someone who would choose you every day." He turned to look at her, vulnerability raw on his face. "I've spent 5 years learning what that means." Sophie felt something shift inside her chest, a wall crumbling, a door opening. What does it mean? It means being brave enough to love without guarantees. It means knowing that success means nothing if you have no one to share it with. He reached for her hand, tentative. "It means I love you, Sophie. Still. Always." Her heart raced, years of hurt battling against the undeniable truth that she'd never stopped loving him either, had only buried it beneath layers of protection.
I don't know if I can trust this. Trust us. Then we'll build that trust day by day. No rush, no pressure, just possibility. The next morning, they took Oliver to the park, watching as he conquered the monkey bars with triumphant shouts. Standing side by side, their shoulders nearly touching, Sophie felt a sense of rightness she'd been missing for years. "Oliver," she called gently when he came running back, "we have something important to tell you." They sat on a bench, Oliver between them, as Sophie explained in simple terms that Ethan wasn't just a friend, he was Oliver's father, who had been away but wanted very much to be part of their family now. Oliver absorbed this with surprising calmness, looking from one to the other with thoughtful eyes, so like Ethan's. "I knew it," he declared finally. "Tommy said you look like my dad, and you know all my favorite things." Ethan's eyes glistened. Is that okay with you that I'm your dad?" Oliver considered this seriously. "Can I call you Dad instead of Mr. Parker?" "I would love that more than anything," Ethan answered, voice thick with emotion. "Cool," Oliver grinned. Then, with a child's ability to accept the extraordinary as perfectly normal, asked, "Can we get ice cream now?" As they walked toward the ice cream shop, Oliver skipping ahead, Ethan reached for Sophie's hand. This time, she didn't pull away. 2 weeks later, Sophie was closing the bakery when Ethan arrived, looking uncharacteristically nervous. "I have something to show you," he said, leading her to his car. They drove to a brownstone in a quiet neighborhood not far from her apartment. "What is this?" she asked as he guided her up the steps. "A possibility," he answered, unlocking the door. Inside, she found not the cold luxury she expected, but warmth. Open spaces filled with natural light, a kitchen that made her gasp, a backyard with room for a garden, and something else, signs of life already taking root. Oliver's artwork framed on walls, a bookshelf with her favorite novels, photographs of the three of them from the past months. "Ethan," she breathed, turning to him in wonder. "It's not a demand or an expectation, it's just hope. Room for all of us, if and when you're ready." Sophie moved through the rooms, touching surfaces, opening cabinets, imagining possibilities. On the refrigerator door, held by magnets, was a child's drawing, Oliver flanked by 2 taller figures, all 3 holding hands beneath a bright sun. When she turned back to Ethan, tears shimmered in her eyes. "You've really changed, haven't you?" He nodded, stepping closer. "I learned the hardest way possible what matters. Not achievements or acquisitions, but this. Choosing love, choosing family, choosing you. Every day." Sophie closed the distance between them, her hands framing his face. "Then I choose you too. Not the billionaire or the businessman, just you, Ethan. The father who makes our son laugh, the man who waited patiently for a second chance he didn't deserve." Their lips met in a kiss that felt both like coming home and setting out on a new journey. Tender, hopeful, certain. Later that summer, as evening descended on their new backyard, Sophie watched Ethan teaching Oliver to catch fireflies, their laughter mingling in the warm air. The path that had brought them here wasn't straight or easy, marked by heartbreak and mistake, by growth and forgiveness, but standing in the glow of their small, perfect family, Sophie knew some journeys, no matter how broken, led exactly where they were meant to.
The invitation. Sophia Lynn tucked a strand of her dark hair behind her ear as she stared at the cream-colored envelope on her desk. The Pinnacle Innovations logo gleamed in silver embossing across the top, looking wildly out of place among the spreadsheets and financial reports that normally surrounded her. "You're not seriously considering going, are you?" Mira asked from the neighboring cubicle, eyebrows raised with genuine concern. Sophia's fingers trembled slightly as she traced the edge of the invitation. "I don't know. It says all departments should have representation and—" She hesitated. "Miss Winters specifically added my name." The annual Innovation Summit was Pinnacle's most prestigious event, a weekend gathering at the Cliffside Resort, where executives, investors, and selected employees discussed the future of the company. Someone like Sophia, a junior accountant barely 2 years into her role, would typically never receive an invitation. "It's because of your cost efficiency model," Mira said, rolling her chair closer. "I heard the CFO mention your name in the elevator last week. They implemented your suggestions company-wide." Sophia felt warmth rise in her cheeks. She had spent months developing that model, working late nights analyzing patterns that others had missed. She had submitted it through proper channels without fanfare, never expecting recognition. "Still," she sighed, "these events are for people like Claire Donovan and her circle, not for someone who shops at discount stores and lives in a studio apartment with a roommate." Mira squeezed her hand. "Which is exactly why you should go. Show them that brilliance doesn't need designer labels." Later that evening, Sophia stood in front of her small closet, assessing her options with critical eyes. Nothing seemed appropriate for an event where attendees would be draped in couture and diamonds. Her gaze landed on a midnight blue dress she had purchased for her college graduation 3 years ago. Simple, elegant, but unmistakably modest. She slipped it on, the silky material falling just below her knees. Her reflection showed a woman of average height with delicate features, warm brown eyes, and a hesitant smile. Sophia twisted her hair into a simple updo, applied minimal makeup, and added her grandmother's small pearl earrings, the only fine jewelry she owned. Her phone chimed with a text from Mira. "Remember who you are. Your mind got you that invitation, not your wardrobe." Sophia took a deep breath, shoulders straightening with newfound determination. Perhaps Mira was right. Perhaps this was her chance to be seen for her work, rather than her background. With trembling fingers, she picked up the invitation again, reading the formal script. "The Board of Directors requests the pleasure of your company at the Annual Innovation Summit." For the first time since receiving it, Sophia allowed herself to feel a flicker of excitement beneath the anxiety. She would attend. She would represent your department with dignity. And perhaps, just perhaps, this would be the beginning of something unexpected.